sure there's a monster in here. Maybe it's just me though. Yo, check. Why don't you pull me monkey auntie, Mr. Hannibal Lecter? Already murdered all these beats, I'll turn the spirit to specter. Do you hear it? Maybe fear it, my appearance is better. Shopping clearance by the back of all your bloody stain sweaters. Hey guys, Vons here, and welcome back to the channel. Today, what I have for you guys is we'll be sampling this record, Gypsy Melodies, by Jan Gaber, the Gypsy violinist and orchestra. Now I thought this was a fun looking record when I picked it up, but to be honest, I kind of already knew it had some sauce in it. You know, we've done some children's records. I was gonna do something a little weird. I thought this was funky, but yeah, I almost feel guilty for using this one because it's so dang good. So let's go ahead and jump into that beat. So at this point, I put on the record and I just want to take a listen. I mean, come on, you cannot tell me that that already sounds very, very saucy. That was the first track of the first side of the record, so I know that this whole thing kind of bangs. And this is the section where I think I want to go in and sample this. So what I'm gonna go is I'm gonna go ahead and press that record button, and let's record that in. Now, I started the recording a little later on the record than I wanted to, so I actually backed the record up a bit. But keep in mind that I'm still recording, so I'm actually gonna be using that record scratch, that record reverse in a later bit, so keep that in mind. That cameo will appear later. So now we've got a record sample, so let's go ahead and just chop it up. I'm gonna make sure I isolate that record reverse sound up here. There you go. Chop that up. And then now what I'm going to be chopping on, you know, sometimes I chop on the beats, you know, every like bar or so, fourth bar. But what I'm doing here is I'm chopping at ideas that I like, so certain notes that stand out to me that sort of signifies the beginning of the next musical idea or phrase. And we're going to try and string those together to make a beat. And you know, you can take your time with this. There's no rush in the world. This sometimes is the most enjoyable part to me. And so now we're gonna search for a drum loop. This beat I started with sample first. So the advantage of starting sample first is I already know what the sample sounds like. I kind of have an idea. So I get to choose the drums that work with the sample as opposed to kind of fitting the sample around the drum. So I chose a bit of a what I thought was a darker drum loop, and I already knew that I'm going to want to chop up this drum loop to edit in some parts. So I'm going to play that in here. So I doubled up on the snare at the end of the first couple bars, and then I'm going to do 4 kick drums at the end of the last couple bars. Now we're just going to, you know, play around with all the chops that we did, see if we find something that we like. I'd been playing around with them for a little bit at this point already, so I kind of already knew where I was going to go. And I believe I'm going to go in here now and turn the pitch down, I think about 1 semitone. There we go. I love that darker sound right there. It gives me definitely like Bond villain-esque vibes, which is kind of why I went with the whole Hannibal Lecter line in the beginning when you watch that preview. Oh, it's so tasty already, man. This one was almost too easy, as I was saying. But I'll promise, next time I'll do some really weird stuff that'll be a lot more difficult. So now I'm gonna go in and I think I'm putting in a filter, taking out some of the highs there, giving it the darker sound. But then what I'll do after that is I'll also go into the tube drive and then add a little more drive into it. Make up for that, help it cut through a bit more.
Oh hey, didn't see you there. But while I have you, I'd like to take the opportunity to tell you that my newest song, Monstera, will be out January 7th. You can pre-save it in the description below. Here's a snippet now.
Hey yo, why the wind drop like the top just sunk in? I catch a cold in the old blown cave wind, but let them in, the show and tell is mine. Spit rhymes like goddamn the watermelon mind. Find the truth inside the mumble blurbs, often slurred through a fizzy drink where my sink may just have the final word. Like how the birds migrate through the seasons, the autumn falling to the pollen has my sinuses sneezing. I once stitched my heart real tight on my sleeve, she poked it with holes to the shadow. Alright, thanks Bonds. Yes, Monstera, releasing January 7th. I'm really stoked about that song. So I hope you guys will check it out. It's probably my favorite song that I made so far. So now what I'm doing is I'm gonna search for a second part to the beat. There's so many good chops to play with, but I really want to use this little chop run, and think you'll see it when I play it in right here. Yeah, that part. It goes a little bit faster. I like that so much. And I decided to leave that last chop. I was gonna maybe play something else after it, but I just like letting it play out. I think it helps build tension, that right there. Yeah. So now I'm gonna add in the bass line, and notoriously I've always struggled with this. So what I did is I'm adding just the regular MPC bass sine sub bass, and what I actually did first is I had my guitar with me. I played my guitar to find the key that the song was in. I ended up being in A minor. Once again, not a conspiracy, I swear. I know I played my last beat in A minor, but that's just how it turned out. I have an easier time playing searching for the key on the piano or the guitar, because the MPC screen for me, it's still a little weird in my head. So right now I'm just trying to find out what notes will work in it, and sometimes it's hard. It's hard for me, but you know, I take my time with this. I cut out a lot of footage of me just searching for the right notes to play. And something we can do, because sometimes with bass it's hard to hear if you're playing the right note, so I'll pitch it up right there, and then I'll find the key in a higher pitch, or find the right notes in the higher pitch, and then once I get what I want, we'll pitch it back down and add that bass. Now it looks like I finally found out what I want to play, so let's play that bass in. There you go. Now that sounded nice. Filling out that low end really well. I'll do the same process for the second part of the beat. And this took me a while, you know. I edited this so it looks fast, but it took me some time. So just trust the process, and the more you do this, the easier it will get. So I think the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to make an intro to the beat using that record scratch. I think this is really cool. So, you know, even you could use any mistakes in your beat as well. You know, as texture, as little ear candy. I pitched it down a bit. I filtered off some of the high end. I'm going to make this 4 bars, let the drums play out, and then add in the record scratch. And that will play into the first main section of our song. And let's test that out. I think probably one of the coolest drops I've made. That's not even that good. Oh yeah, I love how that hits, man. Oh, that sounds so good. Alright, cool, so you know the process. I'm gonna go into Ableton, record some bars, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe there's a monster in here. Maybe it's just me though. Yo, check. Why don't you pull me more Chianti, Mr. Hannibal Lecter? Already murdered all these beats, I'll turn the spirit to specter. Do you hear it? Maybe fear it, my appearance is better. Shopping clearance by the rack of all your bloody stained sweaters. Man, the monsters in the closet kneel in highest regard. Their eyes saucers, feel the cost of disrespecting the bard. Don't go inspecting the card, not just a joke or a king. I'm the terror bringing doom and other harrowing things. When the angels sound the trumpet call, man, I'll make the heavens fall. Shackle all the demigods and keep them in my kingdom's thrall. The violins on the wall and pentagrams that span the brick. Man, the witch, tear them all apart when I slice the stitch.